Back up. Get off the steps. Let's go. Get back.
Welcome to this video where we'll be discussing two true stories of injustice and resilience. These cases highlight the flaws within our criminal justice system and the impact of wrongful convictions and police brutality on individuals and communities. In one case, we'll explore the incredible story of forgiveness and redemption that arose from a mistaken identification. And in another, we'll take a closer look at a shocking incident of police brutality that sparked a national conversation about the need for reform. Stay tuned to find out more about these powerful and inspiring stories. The summer of 2020 was a tumultuous time in the United States, as protests erupted across the country in response to the killing of George Floyd by police officers in Minneapolis. In Buffalo, New York, tensions were high as protesters took to the streets to demand justice for Floyd and other victims of police violence. On June 4th, during one of these protests, a group of police officers were seen on bodycam footage approaching a group of elderly protesters who were gathered in front of City Hall.
Back up. Get off the steps. Let's go. Get back.
As the officers moved in to disperse the crowd, one officer was captured on video shoving an elderly man, causing him to stumble backwards and fall to the ground, hitting his head on the pavement with a sickening thud. The man, later identified as 75-year-old Martin Gugino, lay motionless on the ground as blood pooled around his head. The officers involved in the incident did not immediately come to his aid, instead continuing to push back protesters who had gathered around them. The video of the incident quickly went viral, sparking outrage across the country. Many people were shocked by the brutality of the police response and the callous disregard shown by the officers for Gugino's well-being. Gugino was rushed to a nearby hospital where he remained in critical condition for several days. In the weeks that followed, there were calls for their resignation and for criminal charges to be brought against them. However, in a controversial move, 57 of their colleagues on the Buffalo police force resigned from their positions on the city's emergency response team in protest of their suspension. In an interview with the New York Times, he said, "My intention was to get the attention of the police, to show them that there was someone who was willing to put their own body on the line to make a statement about police violence and systemic racism." A police officer was caught on bodycam footage punching a woman in the face during an arrest, sparking outrage and calls for accountability.
I really should. You acting like that you black. You acting like you white when you really black. Don't walk up on me for real. What you want to do?
One woman, identified as 30-year-old Paris Anderson, was placed under arrest for disorderly conduct and was being led away by police officers when the situation escalated. In the bodycam footage, Anderson can be seen resisting arrest, at which point the police officer punches her in the face. The punch knocks Anderson to the ground and she can be heard screaming in pain. The video of the incident quickly went viral, drawing widespread condemnation and calls for the police officer to be held accountable for his actions. Critics pointed out that the use of force was excessive, particularly given that Anderson was already in handcuffs and under control. In an interview with the Miami Herald, Anderson described the punch as the worst pain I've ever felt in my life and said that she had suffered a concussion and a broken nose as a result. Anderson also spoke out about the broader issue of police brutality and called for more accountability and oversight. "I hope this will be a turning point," she said. "I hope this will be the start of something new, where police officers are held accountable for their actions."
Get out! Get out of the car! Get out now! I have not committed any crime. You're being detained, okay? You're being detained for obstruction of justice. I'm actively serving this country, and this is how you're going to treat me? Back up, Daniel. I didn't do anything. Back up. Whoa, hold on. Daniel. What's going on? Hold on. Watch it.
the car! Get out of the car now!
This is really messed up. My dog is in the back. My dog is choking right now.
Get out of the car! Take your seatbelt off. What are you, a specialist, Corporal? What are you?
I'm a lieutenant.
Lieutenant, get out of the car! Get on the ground.
Please talk to
Get
me
on the
about
ground
what's
now!
going on.
Get on the ground or you're getting sprayed again. Get on the ground.
Can you please talk to me about what's
Get on
going
the ground.
on?
Get on the ground now!
Why am I...
The video of the incident shows two police officers pulling over a car driven by Second Lieutenant Karen Nazario, who was in uniform at the time.
Dog is in the back. My dog is choking right now.
Get out of the car. Take your seatbelt off. What are you, a specialist, Corporal? What are you?
I'm a lieutenant.
Lieutenant, get out of the car. Get on the
Can
ground.
you please talk to
Get
me
on the
about
ground
what's
now.
going on?
Get on the ground or you're getting sprayed again. Get on the ground.
Can you please talk to me about what's
Get on
going
the ground.
on?
Get on the ground now.
Why am I being treated like this?
You're
Why?
not cooperating. Get on the ground.
Nazario repeatedly told the officers that he was afraid to get out of the car and that he was a member of the military, but they ignored his pleas and continued to use excessive force against him. After the incident, Nazario filed a lawsuit against the officers and the Windsor Police Department, alleging that his constitutional rights had been violated. The incident also drew attention to the issue of police brutality against people of color, particularly black men. Many activists and civil rights groups called for the officer responsible for the incident to be fired and for the department to be held accountable for its actions. The Virginia State Police launched an independent investigation into the matter, and the officers were eventually charged with assault and battery. The department faced criticism for its handling of the incident, and several members of the community called for greater accountability and transparency in law enforcement. As the incident gained national attention, Second Lieutenant Nazario became a symbol of the ongoing struggle against police brutality and racial injustice in America. He appeared on several news programs to discuss the incident and the larger issues it raised, and he received support from across the country. Many people saw Nazario's treatment by the police as an example of the systemic racism that exists within law enforcement, and they called for reform of the criminal justice system. Ultimately, the officer responsible for the incident was fired from the Windsor Police Department. The incident also prompted changes to the department's policies and procedures, including the implementation of body cameras for all officers and increased training in de-escalation.